Right. So let's dive into this. You sent over this excerpt. It's titled Germany Job Seeker Visa, New Laws and Opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. And that's our focus for this deep dive, the Germany Job Seeker Visa. We're looking specifically at what your source says about, well, the new laws and the opportunities it mentions for you.
And, understanding these new laws and opportunities, that feels really key. Like if you've ever thought about working in Germany, getting the latest on the framework seems, well, essential, right?
Absolutely. It's about knowing how to navigate things now.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is how the source zeroes in on the changes. It's not just a general overview.
Okay, so what's an example? What's one of these new things it highlights?
Well, one big thing mentioned is the proof of funds, the money you need to show. The source says that amount has been adjusted. It states you need proof of access to about 1,027 euros per month now.
1,027 euros. Okay, that's specific.
Okay.
Right from the source. So it's meant to reflect, like, current living costs better.
Seems like it, yeah. More realistic. It's a concrete figure you can work with, which is helpful.
Definitely. Okay, what other new laws does this excerpt get into?
Another thing it touches on is the visa duration. The standard 6 months is still there,
Yeah.
apparently. But the source mentions the possibility of an extension now.
An extension.
Yeah, under certain conditions.
Yeah.
Maybe like showing you're actively searching hard for a job. It suggests there might be a pathway for a bit more time, which wasn't always so clear before.
That could make a huge difference, couldn't it, that extra time? It sort of suggests the rules might be adapting a bit.
Exactly. Giving candidates a better shot, perhaps.
So does the source link these changes to specific opportunities then?
It does, yeah. It connects these legal tweaks to, well, practical openings. The force seems to highlight that the visa is now maybe more aimed at attracting people in certain high-demand fields.
Like what? Does it name any?
It specifically mentions IT, engineering, and healthcare. The implication is that if your qualifications are in those areas, you might find, the process a bit smoother, maybe employers more receptive.
Ah, okay. So the new laws aren't just red tape. According to the source, they're kind of tied to Germany's strategy, like trying to fill skill gaps, which creates these opportunities you mentioned for people in those sectors.
That's the angle the source seems to present. It frames it less as a general visa and maybe more like a tool for bringing in specific talent.
Interesting. Anything else on the opportunity side?
It also briefly mentions a potential easing of the next step.
Yeah.
Converting the job seeker visa to an actual residence permit for work once you land a job. Streamlining that bit.
Okay, that's also pretty crucial info from the source, making that transition smoother. So it sounds like the whole pathway from searching to working might be getting refined based on this excerpt.
Yeah, that seems to be the picture painted by the source material, which, raises the question for you. How do you actually use this info?
Right, like the updated funds, the potential extension, the sector focus. How do you leverage those points from the source?
Exactly.
Which really brings us back to why looking closely at what your source says about the Germany job seeker visa matters so much. It's about having that specific updated information from the excerpt, not just guessing.
Absolutely. It's the kind of detailed knowledge you'd need to even start planning effectively.
Okay, so just to recap our deep dive, we've looked at the topic from your source, the Germany job seeker visa. Focusing on those specific points, it raised new laws, like the updated funding requirement, the potential for extensions.
And how those might link to opportunities, especially in those key sectors the source mentioned, like IT and engineering.
Right. Pulling out those specific details outlined in the excerpt you shared. So thinking about all this, here's a final thought for you to consider. Given that the source highlights these specific new laws, like the fund levels, and points to opportunities in certain fields, how might understanding these precise details change how you'd approach exploring work in Germany? And what would be like your very first concrete step based only on the topic and details presented in this source material?